Alright. It's time to choose which path of the game we want to play. I think the choice is pretty simple actually. We obviously side with the Navi. And the reason for that is that I feel like dramatically that's probably gonna be the story that's the game is written for. And I feel like if we pick the humans, we're just gonna be running around with machine guns, blasting everything all the time. So we'll do that too, but after. Look at this face. Looks like George Millet or whatever, uh, guy from new president of Argentina. Same same kind of like eye shape and jaw shape. Alright, so we've just discovered we've been tricked. And things go hot. We get told to shoot the guy and we get told to... What? Sorry, what? We're in the middle of a scene. Alright. Get it again on screen.
It's you. You're the mole.
Is that what you're here for? Find the mole. Well, you did it. I'm the mole. Great work, Ryder. I smell promotion in the air.
Do you realize what you're doing?
Think about what you're doing. Any of this look familiar?
Wait, that's...
Yeah, that's where the Navi used to live. Before you stepped in.
Me? I didn't do this.
Everyone's hearing about it. The new SIG spec locked the target. What the hell did you think you were doing?
They told me it was... Oh, God.
They used you, Ryder. Falco and the RDA are finished. It's just a matter of time. I've joined with the Navi.
Give it up, Harper. Don't make this messy.
The Navi could use you. It's now or never. We're two avatars against these guys. We can take them. Let's do it right now. Right now!
Time's up! Ryder, I order you to shoot Harper.
Listen to me, Ryder. We're two avatars. We can take out these troops.
Oh, we can't move. We gotta shoot one of them.
I order you to shoot Harper.
What they have to say?
We're two avatars. We have the advantage.
Okay.
Take Harper out. That's an order.
Can I just shoot the helicopter instead?
Avatars. We can take out these troops.
Alright. Here we go. Only this guy counts. Choice is now made. Enjoy our unlimited ammo machine gun for the final time, I think.
Go! Go! This ain't over, Ryder! Not by a long shot!
We gotta go now. grab your dire horse.
But aren't we like in the pod in the human base? How does this work? Line here.
Kidding around.
The RDA doesn't do anything piecemeal. This is just a taste of the fury to come.
Those long-range missiles will fry this whole sector. Your new friends got anything better than bows and arrows?
They defend their homeland. Those are the only weapons they need.
Great. Good choice, Ryder. Always backing the underdog.
So what about that Avatar link pod that we're in, right? It was just happen off screen.
Okay, I made my choice. Oh God, what have I done? I just turned my back on Falco, the RDA, my own race. I don't even know if I can trust Harper, or the Na'vi. Harper says they'll accept me, but I don't know. I didn't think this through. My link chamber. Damn it. All they gotta do is unplug me. Then my avatar's as good as dead. I'm as good as dead.
Yeah, that's something to think about. What's taking these guys so long? We were literally, it's just one radio call away, right? We're just figured it out. They would just have to make a radio call to the people standing outside that building, right? Yeah, the Sturm Beast. Whilst mostly in the wetlands, will go into rainforest for water. Massive buffalo-like herd beast with 6 legs and indigo and orange coloring. Its skull features a single large bone horn-like extrusion above the eyes. Extrusions are reddish or orange with striated slashes of blue. Land animal that feeds on grass, shrubs, and various fungi. Horn-like jaw extension acts as a plow for digging up roots, grubs, and other subsurface food. Average urge animal is up to 7 meters long, over 4.5 meters tall, weighs roughly 900 kilos. Or long-distance vision, but hearing is acute, and their sense of smell extends over long distances. They have been observed being startled by a predator over 2 miles upwind. The Sturm Beast is one of the main sources of animal products for the Na'vi. As such, the Sturm Beast are a primary organizing force in clan culture. A number of different clans extol the virtues of the animal in textiles, music, song, dance, and art. Sturm Beasts are herd animals. They are extremely social and highly protective of their young. They are also territorial and will mass for attacks against any would-be predator. If a predator is too large or in too many numbers, they will stampede, often breaking off into smaller packs for evasion. Sturm Beast stampede has been described by one RDA mine worker as being as loud as a Valkyrie liftoff. Colorations on the body is lighter blue on top, fading into darker purples and blacks towards the bottom. The male is usually about 15% larger than the female and has a bigger ridge bone on its back. The male also has a dramatic top horn that is used for defense and in mating contests against other bulls. Brain mass to body mass weight ratio is low, and the creatures are slow to react and slow to stop reacting. The young, old, and lame are prey only to the largest or fiercest predators, such as viper wolf packs, Matador, and occasionally a large Leonopterid. Did we ever read about these things? Spiraling corals crossed with palm trees. When stems movement or are touched, they retract their trunks underground. Alright. We'll read a few more. Ichneumia, verdant pinnacle. Means stairway to heaven. Na'vi have allowed RDA researchers to set up monitoring stations to track migratory habits of the various beasts in the region. Ancient geological upheaval is believed to have caused this spectacular ravine of floating mesas and tangled vegetation. Perched high in these leviathans of floating rock is a sprawling mountain Banshee rookery. It's here where the Na'vi teach their warriors the skill of Banshee riding. Each tribe member must mount with the Banshee to fly or die trying. Recently, the RDA set up monitoring stations throughout the valley to observe migratory habitats of the indigenous species that dwell in the region. Read that one. Let's do this one. Hallelujah, or Floating Mountains. A group of stone monoliths that hover thousands of meters above the surface of the site of Ikanimaya, Stairway to Heaven, a profound rite of passage for Navi youth. Various sizes from boulder size to over 16 kilometers across. Study of these mountains led to discovery of unobtainium and subsequent colonization of Pandora. Floating masses will sometimes crash together, thus the Navi named them Thundering Rocks. Called Hallelujah Mountains because they portend the wealth of unobtainium. Why the floating mountains float? Either of the aforementioned mechanisms could explain how a tremendous mass of rock could remain airborne. Scientists assumed that it must have something to do with the intense magnetic fields in the area. They had no explanation for their source. The source is that they made it the fuck up. It was not until the microstructure of unobtainium was elucidated and the billions of voids in the quasi-crystal matrix were found to contain trapped magnetic flux. It accounted for the strength of the magnetic fields, but it still did not explain the manner in which the floating mountains maintained their stability over the eons with the changes in weight distribution brought about by plant growth and material erosion caused by weathering. Alright, we're going to answer maybe one of the big questions I had about the movie. I felt it was kind of silly, but I guess we'll see. The answer was found as a result of the site surveys conducted by RDA geologists. Accurate maps of ground magnetic isobars were studied. They revealed a magnetic field gradient that surrounded each floating mountain with a perimeter of increased field strength that acted like a magnetic fence. Yeah. This explained their stable positions, but raised a new question of how the situation came about. Two schools of thought arose. The first, and before the largest, originally propounded by the Dmitry Akta of Lunas Armstrong University, was that some sort of positive feedback mechanism during Pandora's molten phase attracted large areas of like magnetic fields in an unobtainium deposit, and their mutual repulsion finally pushed a large chunk of unobtainium containing matter away, hang in the air until it cooled and solidified. The ordinary non-magnetic rock was denser and settled to the bottom of the molten mass as it cooled, forming the necessary ballast, the heavy keel of a boat. The crater left behind was therefore deficient in the superconductor and its associated magnetic field, resulting in a ring of stronger field in the ground around the crater that restrained the floating mountain. In time, surface flows of rain, runoff water carried in dirt to fill the holes. Second, a minority opinion held that this was an ad hoc theory. Created after the fact and merely deferred the prime cause to the unspecified positive feedback mechanism. This group believed that the finely balanced floating mountains required some sort of conscious supervision during their creation. They directed their attention to the worldwide links between the various life forms and the satellite ecology as represented by the phenomenon the Navi refer to as AWA. New studies have raised more questions than they have answered. Individual mountains have been observed to float considerable distances from their initial position and to bump and rub against one another. Both of these behaviors are at variance with the field gradient theory. Many of the mountains have dangling vines that have anchored themselves to the ground below and changing amounts of water in lakes, rivers, and waterfalls. All these factors alter the weight and balance of the formations, yet they appear to maintain a relatively constant altitude. Other floating mountains are completely unencumbered, but remain invisibly bound to a fixed location. The only factor found to date that upsets this stability is the advent of mining operations in the shadow of one of the mountains. 4 personnel were killed during initial excavation when a ship-sized formation suddenly inverted and crashed down on the workers. While most people accepted that the removal of unobtainium disrupted the magnetic fields around the mountain, a few believe that it was an act of balancing initiated by AWA. Floating mountains and stone arches are Pandora's 2 signature landforms. Both are markers for the presence of unobtainium. They also serve to warn pilots of the nexus of intense magnetic fields that can confound their navigation system and alter operation of the aircraft. The mountains are considered sacred by the Navi. They are the staging ground for Ikanimaya, Stairway to Heaven, a treacherous but foundational rite of passage in which a young Navi must select, or be selected by, capture and successfully bond with one of the Ikran banshees who nest there. First human explorer to see images of the floating mountains were awestruck, as are all humans lucky enough to have seen the phenomenon. The sight of billions of tons of rock floating as weightlessly as cloud was inexplicable, almost hallucinatory. The reality of the phenomenon became apparent after a science team measured the prodigious magnetic fields that supported the mountains. Early researchers were still at a loss, however, to explain how such fields could be produced. 3 months later, the initial unobtainium deposits were found. Superconducting properties provided the first clue to help unravel the mystery of the floating mountain. It's been known since ancient times that like magnetic poles, north or south to south, repel each other. Naturally occurring lodestones were used by early experimenters who mapped the patterns of their fields by sprinkling powdered iron onto a piece of paper with magnets underneath. Early attempts at magnetic levitation failed, largely because the configuration was inherently unstable. The upper magnet was lowered into position, it would flip over. Its opposite pole would then be attracted to the lower magnet and it would crash down. It took years to realize that in order to achieve levitation, the lower magnetic field must be stronger at the edges, weaker at the center. The upper magnet also needed a non-magnetic ballast to keep it from inverting. But even when such an apparatus was constructed, it was found that it was still unstable. If the upper magnet moved even slightly off-center, it would immediately be attracted to the nearest edge magnet, causing instability. Also, the relatively weak fields produced by natural magnets limited the weight that could be levitated. Only after modern electronics became available and electromagnets with active feedback circuits were incorporated into the mechanism, stable magnetic levitation was achieved. Unfortunately, the electrical resistance of copper wire coils off the electromagnets dissipated a large amount of the power as heat. Thus, the process was too inefficient to have many commercial applications. With the creation of terrestrial superconductors that operate at liquid nitrogen temperatures, it became possible to levitate heavy objects. First maglev trains went into operation in the early 21st century. Superconducting wire was only used to keep the electromagnets from overheating. The fields were repelled by those from other magnets located in the guideway of the train track. Levitation based on superconductors is a different phenomenon. Superconductors will resist having an external magnetic field penetrate their substance. There are no like and opposite poles involved. A piece of superconductor will float in an ordinary magnetic field, requiring only that the field be stronger at the periphery to keep it centered. But again, the interaction is fairly weak and not suitable for exploitation by freight haulers or other industrial users. Okay. Well, now we have different gear. I knew it. You don't get to keep the infinite ammo. Like, yeah, the gun has finite ammo now. Also, the performance is better. Performance is much better here. That forest map was brutal. This is smooth. Yeah, well, what's up with this? Performance is great. Huh. Well, that's a breath of fresh air. How strange. There's like this early section with atrocious performance.
Time is against us. If Falco unplugs our link chambers, we're done. Tanjala and I will lead a raiding party to seize the link chambers.
I'm coming with you.
No! You'll only slow us down. We're riding banshees. This is a skill you gotta learn from Beidama, the mightiest warrior of the Tepani. A word of caution. Beidamo doesn't take kindly to strangers.
Excuse me? I just betrayed my own people to be here.
Then he especially won't like you. He hates traitors. Find Morali. She is mated with Beidamo. She'll know what to do.
Yeah, so how much time has passed here? Like 5 minutes or an hour or a day or whatever it is. It feels kind of hard to believe that these people can get the link units captured before a radio signal could reach the guards nearby and ruin us, you know? Also, when did we have time to get all these weapons? And are we gonna do quests, become ready to join this guy on the rescue mission to rescue ourselves? Like, I feel like the sense of time is all strange. What is this? And people? I gotta find a mirror to scan myself. You know what? I'm gonna actually take a break here because I'm about to no longer be alone in this house. People are gonna wake up and not gonna be conducive to streaming.